ご自身の人生を季節外れの枯れ木のように感じてはおられませんか。その思考こそが真の開花を妨げる最大の雑草なのです。春に咲き誇る桜だけが花ではありません。厳冬の風雪に耐え抜き、万物が凍てつく中でこそ、その生命の炎を真紅に燃え上がらせる寒椿のように、人生の後半にこそ、真の絶頂を迎える命があるのです。そこに座っておられるあなた。今、ふと鏡に映るご自身の姿をご覧になり、刻まれたシワの一つ一つ、白髪の一本一本を数えては、私の人生も黄昏を迎えてしまったと、深いため息をつかれた、まさにあなたのことです。世の中を見渡せば、20代で巨万の富を築いた実業家や、30代で世界的な名声を博した天才たちのニュースがあふれ返っております。それらの華やかな光景と、ご自身の現状を比較し、自分は何者にもなれなかった、もう手遅れだと、ご自身の可能性に、自らの手で静かに蓋をしてしまってはいませんか。今日、私がこうしてあなたに語りかけるのは、そのような弱気な心の曇りを、一刀両断に拭い去るためであります。まずは、耳の穴をしっかりと開いて、私の言葉を魂の奥底まで染み込ませてください。あなたが今抱いておられるその焦り、虚無感、そしてもう年だからという定年、それらはすべて、あなたの輝かしい魂を曇らせる、実にくだらない、そして恐ろしい消極的な暗示に過ぎないのです。人生というものを、短距離走のように勘違いしてはいけません。誰が一番早くゴールテープを切るか、誰が一番早く花を咲かせるか、そんな浅はかな競争を、私たちはしているのではありません。あなたは、朝顔とクスノキを比べて、クスノキの成長が遅いと嘆く愚か者をご覧になったことがありますか。朝顔は、夏の一時期、鮮やかに咲き誇り、そしてすぐにしおれてしまいます。それはそれで一つの美しい命の形でしょう。しかし、クスノキはどうでしょうか。何十年、何百年という悠久の歳月をかけて、大地に深く、太く、盤石な根を張り巡らせ、やがては大空を覆い尽くすほどの大樹となります。その広大な木陰は多くの旅人を癒し、その巨木は、どんな暴風雨が来ようとも、決して揺らぐことはありません。あなたが今、50代であれ、60代であれ、あるいは70代、80代であれ、もしご自身をまだ何も成し遂げていない、まだ咲いていないと感じておられるのなら、それはあなたが朝顔のような一年草ではなく、クスノキのような大樹としての素質を持って生まれた証拠なのです。大器晩成という言葉がございますが、あれは単なる慰めの言葉などでは断じてありません。あれは、宇宙の厳然たる真理を説いた言葉なのです。早く咲く花は、散るのも早い。これは自然界の絶対的な法則です。若くして成功という美酒に酔いしれ、その強烈な光に目がくらみ、自分の実力を過信し、謙虚さを失い、感謝を忘れ、やがては足元をすくわれて消えていった人間を、私はこれまでの人生で嫌というほど見てまいりました。根が十分に張っていないのに、花や果実だけを大きく実らせてしまえば、幹がその重みに耐えきれずに折れてしまうのは、物理的にも当然の理ではありませんか。しかし、遅咲きの人間は違います。あなたはこれまで、悔しい思いも、悲しい思いも、数えきれないほどされてきたことでしょう。人に先を越され、泥水をすするような苦労をし、自分の無力さに枕を濡らした夜もあったはずです。理不尽な扱いに唇を噛み、孤独に震えた冬の日もあったでしょう。ですが、よくお聞きなさい。その苦難の経験こそが、あなたの根なのです。あなたが暗い土の中で、光も見えずに必死にもがいていたあの日々、あなたの命の根っこは、大地の奥深く、水分と養分を求めて、誰よりもたくましく伸び続けていたのです。人には見えないその地中の努力、忍耐、そして葛藤こそが、これからあなたが咲かせることになる、巨大な花の揺るぎない土台となるのです。だからこそ、遅咲きは最強なのです。ちょっとやそっとの風が吹こうが、日照りが続こうが、びくともしない強靭な精神の根が、あなたには、もう、 十分に備わっているではありませんか。これは若くして成功した者には決して手に入れることのできない人生という道場があなたに授けた最高の宝物なのです。私が長年この世の人間をつぶさに観察してきて確信したことがございます。それは人生の真の価値というものは前半戦の華やかさやスピードで決まるものでは決してないということです。最後の最後、人生の幕を下ろすその瞬間にどれだけ自分の魂が完全燃焼し、どれだけ本当に良い人生だった、楽しかったと心から微笑むことができたか、勝負はそこで決まるのです。若い頃の苦労は勝手でもせよと申しますが、あなたはもうその代金を十二分に支払ってこられました。ならば、これからは商品を受け取る番です。それなのに、なぜ受け取りを拒否するような顔をして、下を向いておられるのですか。世の中には大きく分けて2種類の人間が存在します。一つは年齢を重ねるごとにカレンダーの数字ばかりを気にして、もう還暦だから、もう定年だからと言い訳の壁を築き、ご自身の中に眠る無限の可能性の扉を次々と自らの手で閉ざしていく人間です。彼らは過去のわずかな栄光にしがみつくか、あるいは過去の失敗を悔やむ反数作業に時間を費やし、今この瞬間に躍動している生命の力をドブに捨てているようなものです。顔には正気がなく、言葉には愚痴や不平不満が混じり、周りの空気までよどませてしまう。厳しいことを申し上げるようですが、このような人間は、たとえ肉体が100歳まで生きたとしても、魂はとうの昔に死んでいるのと同じことなのです。もう一つは、年齢など単なる記号に過ぎないとかっぱし、今日という日が、残りの人生で一番若い日であり、同時にこれまでの経験がすべて統合された最強の日であると知っている人間です。彼らは顔に刻まれたシワの数だけ英知を蓄え、白髪の数だけ人への優しさを学び、肉体の変化などものともせずに、魂の炎をこうこうと燃やし続けています。このような人間こそが遅咲きの最強の勇者であり、真の賢者なのです。彼らは知っているのです。人間の肉体は確かに自然の摂理として変化します。しかし、心は、精神は、気の持ちよう一つで、いくらでも若返らせることができるし、死ぬその瞬間まで成長させることができるという、宇宙の絶対的な法則を熟知しているのです。あなたに改めて問いたい。あなたは、どちらの人間として、これからの黄金のような時間を生きるおつもりですか。死んだ魚のような濁った目をして、ただ死を待つだけの余生を送るのですか。それとも、今こそ自分の季節が到来したと腹をくくり、命の炉にくべき焚き木を投げ入れ、周囲を驚嘆させるような大輪の花を咲かせるのですか。答えは、もうあなたの胸の中で決まっているはずです。よく考えてみてください。遅咲きの人間が最強である理由は、その感謝の深さと人間的な厚みにあります。若い頃に何の苦労もなくトントン拍子に出世したり成功したりした人間は往々にして周りの助けが見えなくなりがちです。自分には才能がある、これは自分の力だと錯覚し、傲慢という名の落とし穴に落ちるのです。ですが、長い冬を耐え風雪にさらされてきたあなたなら痛いほどわかるはずです。自分が今日まで生きてこられたのは決して自分一人の力ではないということ。家族の献身的な支え、友人の温かい励まし、時には袖すり合う他人の情け、そして何より、この大自然、宇宙から無償で与えられ続けている生命のエネルギーのおかげだと、骨の髄まで染みて理解されているはずです。その苦労の果てににじみ出る感謝の念こそが、人を強力に引きつける磁石となるのです。あなたが何か新しいことを始めようと立ち上がったとき、その感謝の波動は言葉を超えて必ず周囲に伝わります。あの人のためなら人肌脱ごう。あの人の喜ぶ顔が見たいと、人が自然と集まってくるのです。これこそが、小手先のテクニックや若さの勢いだけでは決して真似のできない、年輪を重ねた人間にしか醸し出せない人徳という名の最強の武器なのです。ビジネスであろうが、趣味の世界であろうが、あるいは地域社会の活動であろうが、結局のところ、最後に勝利を収め、 人に愛されるのは、この人徳を持った人間なのです。技術や知識、IT のスキルなどというものは、必要であれば後からいくらでも真似ればよいのです。しかし、にじみ出るような人間味、深み、温かみといったものは、一朝一夕では作れません。あなたがこれまでの人生で流した涙の数だけ、あなたの魂は磨かれ、ダイヤモンドのように多面的な輝きを放っているのです。それからもう一つ、遅咲きの人間が持つ、極めて大きな利点がございます。それは失敗に対する強靭な免疫力です。あなたは、これまでの人生で、もう十分に失敗を経験されてきたでしょう。恥もかき、悔しい思いもし、挫折の味も知っておられるでしょう。だからこそ、今更新しい挑戦をして失敗することを、過剰に恐れる必要など全くないのです。失うものなど何もないという境地、これほど強いものはありません。若かりし頃に持っていた、守るべき小さなプライドや見栄など、とうの昔に捨て去ったのではありませんか。裸一貫、ここからが本当の勝負だと思えば、どんな大胆な挑戦だってできるはずです。若者が失敗したらどうしよう、笑われたらどうしようと足踏みをしている間に、あなたは失敗しても命までは取られん。笑いたければ笑うがいい。私の人生は私のものだと豪快に笑って、一歩を踏み出せるのです。その図太さ、その精神的なタフさこそが、成功への最短距離なのです。私が長年見てきた中で、本当に魅力的で、五光が指しているように見える人間というのは、皆一様に、人生の後半戦で輝き出した方々ばかりです。彼らは、若い頃の未熟だった自分をあの頃は青かったと笑い飛ばし、今の成熟した自分を心から慈しみ、楽しんでいます。例えば、60歳を過ぎてから全く未経験の商売を始めて大成功を収めた方もおられます。70歳で初めて絵筆を握り、そこから世界的な画家になった方もおられます。80歳を超えてから新しい語学を習得し、海外へ飛び出した方もおられます。彼らに共通しているのは、たった一つの魔法の言葉です。それは、今更という言葉を、今からという言葉に置き換えたこと。たった一文字、言葉を変えるだけで、人生の景色は劇的に変わるのです。あなたの中には、まだ封を切られていない、巨大な倉庫が眠っていることをご存知ですか。才能という名の在庫が、山積みになったまま埃をかぶっている巨大な倉庫が、あなたの魂の奥底にあるのです。これまでの人生で、あなたは家族のために、会社のために、組織のために、あるいは世間体のために、ご自身の真の欲求を抑えて生きてこられたのかもしれません。それは、犠牲という名の尊い愛であり、立派な行いでした。しかし、その過程で自分にはこんなことはできない。自分はこういう人間だと、勝手に自分の限界を決めつけ、倉庫の鍵を錆びつかせてしまってはいないでしょうか。今こそ、その鍵を壊す時なのです。錆びついているなら、情熱という名の油を注ぎ、勇気という名のハンマーで、力ずくでこじ開けるのです。中には、あなたが若い頃に密かに夢見たこと、無心になって好きだったこと、人より少しだけ得意だったことが、まるで熟成された極上のワインのように、芳醇な香りを放って出番を待っているはずです。それを一つ一つ丁寧に取り出し、日の光に当ててやるのです。遅すぎるなんてことは、天と地がひっくり返っても絶対にありません。むしろ、今このタイミングで取り出すからこそ、その才能は、あなたの人生経験という深みとコクを加えて、若者には到底生み出せない、唯一無二の価値を持つのです。果実の理屈を考えてごらんなさい。果実というものは、青いうちに食べても酸っぱいだけで、本当の美味しさはわかりません。木の上でじっくりと時間をかけ、夏の太陽を浴び、秋の風に吹かれ、台風に耐え、十分に熟した時に初めて、あのとろけるような甘みと、芳醇な香りが生まれるのです。あなたは今、まさにその完熟の時を迎えようとしているのです。最も美味しく、最も価値があり、最も人を喜ばせることのできる状態にあるのです。それなのに、ご自身でも腐りかけだなどと勘違いをして、自分を捨ててどうなさるのですか。もったいないとは思いませんか。宇宙が、 あなたという最高傑作を完成させようとしているクライマックスの場面で、主人公であるあなたが舞台から降りてどうするのですか。人生において、今日という日は残りの人生の最初の一日である、という有名な言葉がありますが、私に言わせれば、今日という日は、あなたが新しく生まれ変わる第二の誕生日です。過去がどうであったかなど、一切関係ありません。昨日までのあなたが、どれほど運が悪く、どれほど冴えない人生を送っていたとしても、病気がちであったとしても、借金を抱えていたとしても、今のこの瞬間に、あなたが心の底から私は運がいい。私はこれから咲き誇るのだ。私の人生はこれからが本番だと強烈に決意し、信念を持ったなら、その瞬間から運命の歯車は、凄まじい音を立てて逆回転を始めるのです。これは単なる精神論や気休めではありません。厳然たる心の法則、科学をも超えた宇宙の法則なのです。心が変われば、必ず現実は変わります。なぜなら、あなたの人生という現実は、あなたの心が映写機となって映し出した影に過ぎないからです。フィルムである心を変えれば、スクリーンである現実は変わらざるを得ないのです。では、具体的に何をすべきか、難しいことはありません。まず、そのしかめ面をやめて、眉間のシワを伸ばし、口角をぐっと上げなさい。そして、鏡の中の自分に向かって、誰もいない時で構いませんから、大きな声でこう宣言するのです。お前は素晴らしい。お前は最強だ。これからが黄金期だと。最初は嘘でもいい。から元気でもいい。照れくさければ、小声から始めてもいい。ですが、毎日、朝晩、呪文のように唱え続けてみなさい。言葉には霊力が宿ります。これを言霊と申します。あなたが発する肯定的な言葉のシャワーが、あなたの潜在意識に長年こびりついた自分はもうダメだ。年寄りだというネガティブな赤を洗い流し、本来の輝きを取り戻してくれるのです。そして、何か一つ、小さくてもいいから新しいことを始めてください。今まで通らなかった道を歩く、手に取らなかったジャンルの本を読む、会わなかったタイプの人に会う、食べたことのない料理を食べる、どんな些細なことでも構いません。それが、あなたの凝り固まった日常にひびを入れ、新しい風を吹き込みます。水はよどむと腐りますが、流れれば常に清らかさを保ちます。あなたの人生も同じです。常に動きなさい。常に変化しなさい。安定を求めてはいけません。安定とは、情熱の墓場であり、老化の始まりです。変化の中にこそ、進化があり、若返りがあり、そして未知なる成功が待っているのです。遅咲きの花は、散り際もまた、息を飲むほど美しいものです。なぜなら、咲くまでの長い長い過程に、すべてのエネルギーをつぎ込み、根を張り、幹を太くし、そして咲いている間は、全身全霊でその美しさと香りを世界に表現し、散るときは、やりきった、我が人生に悔いなしという完全なる充足感とともに、静かに大地に帰るからです。あなたの人生も、そうあるべきだとは思いませんか。最後の一瞬まで、自分の可能性を信じ抜き、挑戦し続け、周りを照らし続ける、そんな生き方ができたら、最高に粋で、最高にかっこいいではありませんか。周りの目なんて、一切気にする必要はありません。世間の常識なんて、凡人が作った鳥かごのようなものです。いい年をして何をバカなことを、身の程を知れなどという輩がいれば、心の中で静かに笑ってやり過ごしなさい。彼らは、挑戦しない自分、諦めた自分を正当化するために、輝こうとするあなたの足を引っ張ろうとしている。哀れな人たちなのです。円弱いずくんぞ広告の志を知らんやという言葉があります。地面をついばむ小さなスズメには、大空を悠々と飛ぶ大鳥の心持ちは理解できないのです。あなたはスズメではありません。大鳥です。大きく翼を広げて、自分の信じる空を、誰に遠慮することなく飛べばよいのです。もし、あなたが今、病気や経済的な問題、家庭の不和などで苦しんでいるとしても、それすらも遅咲きの花をより美しく、より鮮やかにするための天与の肥料だと思いなさい。この中村天風もかつては、 結核という当事死の病と恐れられた病に侵され、血を吐きながら人生のどん底を味わいました。死の恐怖におののき、運命を呪いました。ですが、その地獄のような苦しみがあったからこそ、生きることの本当の意味、心の持ち方の重要性、そして人間の生命力の無限の可能性に気づくことができたのです。すべての逆境は、あなたを痛めつけるためにあるのではありません。あなたを強く、賢く、深く、そして優しくするために用意された、天からの砥石なのです。逃げてはいけません。正面からぶつかって、火花を散らして、自分という魂の刀を、鋭く研ぎ澄ませてください。いいですか？最後にこれだけは覚えておいてください。あなたの人生のピークは、10代でも20代でもありません。過去のどこかにあるのでもありません。これから来るのです。いや、あなたが今ここだ、と決めたその時が、最高のピークになるのです。80代でピークを迎えたっていい。90代で人生の最高傑作を作り上げたっていいではありませんか。晩年という寂しい言葉は、今ここで捨て去りなさい。これからはご自身の人生を黄金期と呼ぶのです。あなたの人生の黄金期は、今、この瞬間から、厳かに、そして力強く始まるのです。今日、この話を聞き終えたら、すぐに行動に移してください。ただいい話を聞いたと感動して終わりにしてはいけません。それでは何も変わりません。心に小さな火がついたなら、その熱が冷めないうちに、最初の一歩を踏み出すのです。懐かしい友人に電話をかけるのでもいい。ノートにこれからの夢を書き殴るのでもいい。近所を胸を張って散歩するのでもいい。具体的な行動こそが、あなたの決意を宇宙に示すのろしとなるのです。忘れてはいけませんよ。あなたは、枯れたのではありません。まだ咲いていないだけです。そして、一度咲き始めたら、誰よりも長く、誰よりも美しく、誰よりも香り高く咲き誇る、最強にして最高の遅咲きの花なのです。そのことを片時も忘れることなく、誇りを持って生きてください。さあ、顔を上げなさい。背筋を天に向かってピンと伸ばしなさい。あなたのその瞳の奥には、まだ燃え尽きていない情熱の種火が赤々と残っているのを、私は見逃してはいませんよ。その種火に勇気という名の空気を送り込みなさい。大きく息を吸って、生命の息吹を吹きかけなさい。やるぞ。と、腹の底から天に向かって叫びなさい。その瞬間、あなたの60兆の細胞の一つ一つが目覚め、眠っていた遺伝子のスイッチがオンになり、あなたは生まれ変わるのです。この世はね、遅咲きこそが最強なのですよ。その真理を胸に刻み、堂々と、威風堂々と、あなただけの人生という名の王道を歩いていきなさい。私はいつでも、宇宙の真理とともに、ここからあなたを全力で応援しております。大丈夫です。あなたならできる。必ずできます。なぜなら、あなたは選ばれし遅咲きの勇者なのですから。さあ、行ってらっしゃい。そして、ご自身の人生の花を、世界で一番美しく、満開に咲かせてきなさい。
There is a process, and there is a gestation process in your vortex too. And we would like now to reveal to you for the first time how long that gestation process is. Ready? That long. That long. That long. That was too long. Esther cannot demonstrate what it is. That's way too long. That was too long too. Way, way, way too long. It's instantaneously. When you ask, it is immediately, because the source within you becomes it. And all things, all cooperative components are there. So the question isn't, how long does it take for it to become in the vortex? The question is, how long does it take you to be ready for what you've put in the vortex? Because if you're complaining, you're not ready. And if you're doubting, you're not ready. So the length of time that it takes from your launching of a desire to your witnessing it in its full material form, how long does it take these thoughts to turn to your things? That's the big question. How long is it going to take for these thoughts to turn to the things I want. It only takes as long as it takes for your thoughts to turn to the things you want, your consistent thoughts to turn to the thoughts about the things that you want. So when you find yourself talking about what you want in negative fashion, oh, where is it? I've waited so long. It just isn't fair. I'm so uncomfortable. I want it, but it isn't here. Those words are your indication. Those are manifestations of a different evolution of a different thought. So in our desire to help you feel the realness of this vibrational reality, we named it, wrote a book about it, and we said to you, until you could hardly bear to hear it again, just get into the vortex. Just get into the vortex where everything you want is, and you'll see then everything you want. And you said, oh, Abraham, stop spraying frou-frou dust all over us. Can't we talk about something that is real? And we say, it's real. You've just got to develop your sensors to understand that it is. And then you became suspicious. Oh, yeah, we get it. You just want us to be happy in the absence of what we want by pretending that it really is over there. And we said, yes, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. We want you to be happy in the absence of what you want, in the absence of its manifestation, because we know that in your happiness anyway, in your expectation of it anyway, in your trust of the vibration of it that you can feel with your emotions, even though you can't see it with your other senses, in your belief that it is there, not only will it be, but the fun in which it reveals itself to you, oh, the pleasure of manifestation. Friends, that's what you came for. You came for the pleasure of manifestation. You came as creative genius to sift through this environment and come to your own clarity about what you want, not what somebody else wants, not what your family wants or your village wants or your culture wants, not what somebody else wants, what you want. You are the creator of your own experience, and you get to choose what you want. And when you do choose what you want, you've got to fully commit to the choosing of it. You've got to feel it as if it already is, or it cannot be, you see. So here's this vortex, and you listen to us. You read the book, some of you. You read the book. It's a really good book. You read the book. You read the book. You began to believe. And then you heard us say again and again, get into the vortex, get into the vortex, get into the vortex, get into the vortex. And then you began saying, Abraham, all right already, just tell me, how do I get my money out of the vortex and into the bank? How does this vibrational reality become something that I can spend, something that I can really count on, something that others can see, something that somebody besides me believes? When's it going to be tangible? And so instead of asking you to get into the vortex, which is just such a lovely place to be, we know we're in your vortex and it's delightful. You are going to be so pleased with yourself about what you've put there. Enough to keep you busy for 20 or 30 lifetimes. Really, joyfully busy. So good in here. We think we'll just stay in your vortex and leave you alone today. Goodbye. How do I get this vibrational reality to be the kind of reality that I really want, the tangible one, the one that I feel like I've come here to live? And we say, it's much simpler than you think. You just have to become, even though you're not in the vortex, you have to become closer and closer and closer to what is in it. You have to believe rather than doubt. You have to feel exhilaration rather than sadness. You have to love rather than hate. You have to be a vibrational match to what's in it and who's in it. You have to be a vibrational match to the source energy who is there, you see. And so now, rather than asking you to get into the vortex, which seemed to stretch your mind further than you were able, we're now saying to you, become a vibrational match to what's in there, and what's in there will come out where you are. How do I turn the thoughts and the vibrations and the energy of the vortex into the physical equivalent? Well, you just line up with it. What we mean by that is, let's say you want $100,000 and you want it now, or make it 200,000 or 300,000 or $1 million or whatever it is that you want. Choose it. It's yours. If we were standing in your shoes, we would choose big. You don't choose big because the bigger it is, the more you doubt it, which is just foolish. given what we've just told you. It doesn't matter how big it is. If you believe it, it will be. It is as easy to create a castle as a button. It's just a matter of wanting it and not blocking it with doubtful thoughts. And the reason that you think buttons are easier is because you don't doubt the buttons. You don't push against the button thoughts so much. You look around, there's buttons everywhere, buttons everywhere. Everybody's got a button. There's buttons everywhere. There's boxes of buttons, buttons on the floor, buttons, buttons everywhere, buttons, buttons, buttons. I don't doubt buttons. I know I can have buttons. I just don't want buttons anymore. I don't really want any buttons. I want a fortune. I want a fortune. I want a castle. I want magnificent things. Well, it is as easy to create magnificent things as the things that you deem insignificant. But what you must do in either case is not doubt them. So if you don't doubt the insignificant things, they come easily. But the significant things, you say, oh, I have this issue. I have this issue that I want to talk about. And we usually say to you, that's the last thing that we are going to make any progress on, because since it's your issue, it means you've practiced vibrations against it, which means it is not likely, even though we offer perfect words and give you exact answers to every question, every time, no matter what, you can't hear them if you're not in the vibrational vicinity of them, you see. So let's say you want $100,000 and you want it, need it, need it. You want it and you want it to come quickly. And your logic tells you it's probably not going to come today. In fact, your logic might tell you it's probably not going to come this week or this month or even this year, because your logic is coming from what you've experienced before. And it's hard for you to let go of what has been and expect something new and different. So we're wanting you to, instead of needing the money in order to be happy, and we know you would be, because it's easy to have a conditional response to good news, isn't it? Your banker calls you, got good news. $100,000 was deposited in your account today. And your feeling response would be, this is a very good thing. You might even jump up and down a little bit. Your enthusiasm would be easy to observe. But when we tell you that there is $100,000 and more in your vortex, you don't jump up and down, even though it is as real, because you want to translate it with your physical senses. We want you to translate it emotionally. So this is a very important key. If you can accept that all that you want is in your vortex, and you can reach for the feeling place of it, what does the money mean? The 100,000 or the million or more? What does it mean? What would it mean to you in feeling terms? What would that mean? Would it mean stability? Would it? Come out and play with us. Would it mean stability? And what does stability feel like? Stability feels like freedom, like ease. It feels like fun. But stability is one thing. Fun is another thing. Freedom is another thing. So let's just explore all of them. Stability feels like confidence, feels like sureness. It feels like steady, doesn't it? And freedom feels like exhilaration. It feels like free flowing. It feels like, give us words for freedom. What does freedom feel like? Freedom. Choices. No boundaries is what the absence of freedom doesn't feel like. When you say it feels like no boundaries or feels like freedom from bondage, that's not really getting the vibrational essence of it. But when you say freedom feels like, maybe there aren't even any words, but can you find the feeling of freedom? So you wake up, you've got all this money. What's the first thing that comes to your mind under those conditions? Choices. Choices to do what? Choices to do what? Choices to please yourself, yes? Choices to be what you want to be and do what you want to do and go where you want to go and have what you want to have. That freedom to be, that freedom that you are born being, that freedom that you innately are, that freedom that your inner being is standing in the middle of your vortex, gathering all of the cooperative components that will flesh out to evidence that feeling of freedom to you. So now, we've done a pretty good job of feeling what freedom feels like. And so for a while, you are floating around in the vicinity or inside your vortex. You are in the receptive mode of it. And if you maintain that, then you know what happens with the thoughts that have already turned, those energies and vibrations that have already turned to those thoughts that you just spoke to us. You already began the creative process. You already started turning those vibrations to thoughts and those thoughts to things just with this conversation that we've just had. By the time you are shouting out the feeling of freedom, and you have captured the vibrational essence of what that means to you, can you feel the momentum of what you've got going on? And the next thing that's going to happen is you're going to get a thought about something. A thought or an impulse, they're the same thing. In other words, a feeling, a strong feeling, an urge to do something, because those thoughts are going to continue to turn to things. And you know what else? The cooperative components that your inner being has already gathered, that law of attraction has gathered, that are there with your inner being. All those people that you're looking for who will dovetail and help you along the way to what you want, they are lining up out there in your, what you want to call future experience. We want to call it your now experience. They're lining up for your discovery, for your realization, for your witnessing of them. Once you let yourself feel the essence of what you're asking for, and let's just face it, you got to feel the essence of it, because you can't translate it into the reality of it yet, can you? Isn't it an essence while it's still a thought? But if you can capture within yourself the feeling of the essence of it, so that you're not feeling the lack of it because you've got the essence of it. You're now no longer feeling the absence of that money because you've got the essence of the money. You can't feel the absence of the money and the essence of the money at the same time. And if you practice that, if the essence of that money is yours, if the essence of that freedom is yours, if that's what you are broadcasting and that's what's coming back to you, oh, the power of what you have accomplished will demonstrate it to yourself over and over and over and over and over again. Abundance of all nature. Good timing will be your experience. Parking places opening for you. People who are accommodating and helpful and nice will be there. Things that you've been looking for, things that you've even forgotten that you want will begin showing up in your experience. Handed to you over and over and over and over and over again as you stand there feeling, maybe for the first time in a long time, more blessed than you've ever felt, because it feels to you, because it is true, the entire universe is assisting you in actualizing what you have put already into your vortex. Oh, so fun to be in your physical shoes. So fun to be a physical manifester. So fun to turn those thoughts to things. So fun to be the witnesser of the creative genius that is you. There is nothing that you are incapable of being or doing or having. It's just a matter of you deciding. And we want you to rest with that word for a moment. Because sometimes you use the word decision incorrectly, because you think you've decided before you have found the vibrational essence of it, and you haven't. Often you are decided against the very thing that your vortex is full of. So a decision is wanting it and believing it. Until you are decisive, until you are wanting and knowing, wanting and trusting, wanting and believing, then you're not going to be the receiver of it. It'll zig and you'll zag. In other words, so many near misses all day, every day. You should see it from our vantage point. It is fun to watch. It's fun to watch as you are honing in on what you want. There it went again. 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 Bingo. And then you say, oh, that was lucky. When you have an active desire, your attraction power, your point of attraction is more vivid. More things are happening. There's more momentum in your experience when you are clear about what you want. Sometimes you hold back on what you want because you've come not to expect what you want to come about. You've come to expect desire that is slow in coming or not coming. And so when we ask, do you know what you want, what your current active desire is? Sometimes you say yes and aren't really a vibrational match to it, so it doesn't feel so good. And sometimes you say yes enthusiastically because you can feel that you are somewhere close to the vibrational vicinity of what you want. We come to this forum as representation of the larger non-physical part of you. You are so much more than your physical personality, but many people don't know that. In this body, you're an extension of non-physical, and that being that you are an extension of is actively involved in every moment of every day that you are here in this body. And the way you feel as you move through your days, moment by moment, conversation by conversation, thought by thought, really, the way you feel is really and only about your relationship with you. It's about how your energies are lining up. As you share this planet with so many other people, it feels to you that what you're feeling is a lot about what they're doing, how they feel about you, how you feel about them. But really, those are only points of focus that point out to you in an emotional way what your thought is in this moment about whatever it is you're focused upon in relationship to how your inner being feels and is focused about the same thing in the same moment. So it's the relationship between you and you that matters. We want to say it's really what matters the most. We almost want to say it's what matters only, because until you get that squared away, until you are consciously aware of the relationship between the physical you and the source energy you, the soul you, the source you, until you've got that figured out and you know what your guidance system is telling you in any moment in time, then you are undoubtedly, like many people, having a sort of rough ride, because you're observing all over the place with no defined by you reason for what you're looking at or why you're looking at it or what you're talking about or why you're talking about it. Most people are not very deliberate about these things. But when you figure out how to be deliberate about these things, then life becomes really good for you. It feels so much more satisfying as you're moving through life experience. And that's why a gathering like this, where we have an opportunity to talk with you about the things that you want and to help you come into vibrational alignment with the things that you want, then a shift takes place within you. In this gathering, we talk endlessly about law of attraction, and we talk about momentum, and momentum and law of attraction are really the same conversation, aren't they? Aren't they? Are they? Because when you think about something, law of attraction brings you more like it. And as you ponder that, law of attraction brings you more like that. And it doesn't take long before there's momentum about that. And that momentum is the excuse you all use for not thinking deliberately. It's the reason that you often offer a vibration that you don't mean to. When you think a thought for as little as 16 seconds, we used to say 17, for as little as 16 seconds, another thought like it joins it. And in the early stages of thoughts, that's so subtle, you hardly notice the increase in the momentum. But if you're able to stay non-contradicted on that thought, whether it's a wanted thought or an unwanted thought, in other words, the way you contradict an unwanted thought is with a wanted thought. The way you contradict a wanted thought is with an unwanted thought. So if you're off on the wrong foot in the morning and you're thinking about things that you don't want, and as you're thinking about that, then another thought joins it. Every 16 seconds, another thought joins and another thought joins until in a little bit of time, really in just over a minute, you have enough momentum going with that thought that you could, if you were aware, you could discern the vibrational harmony between the way you're looking at that thought and between the way your inner being is looking at that thought. In other words, in a minute of focusing, you can feel the emotion that you're feeling. You're either feeling lighthearted and happy, which means you're in sync with your inner being, or you're feeling more defensive, more vulnerable, maybe more angry, more pensive, more frustration. Those emotions come fast. And as you become aware of your emotions, that means, whether you know it or not, you are aware at some level of the relationship between you and you, which means your guidance system is now working for you. If you don't allow yourself to be real about your emotions, if you mask them, if you pretend that you feel differently than you do, it doesn't change your point of attraction, but it does make you less likely to become deliberate in the way you present your thoughts to the world. Now, your thoughts matter so much. Your thoughts are about, sometimes, they are thoughts that you've generated because it's a topic that you've been focused upon. Sometimes, and most often, your thoughts come in response to something that you are observing in your, what you want to call real life, manifested life experience. So we just want to point out to you briefly, we know that you've been listening to us for a while, many of you, and that this is repetition to you because we begin every seminar with this conversation. You are the creator of your own reality, and law of attraction is responding to you. So when you think a thought, and another thought joins it, and another thought joins it, and another thought joins it, in time, these thoughts that come about, because law of attraction keeps presenting to you other thoughts that are like the thoughts that you're offering, before long, you have a belief going. A belief is just a thought that you continue to think. And in time, you come to absolute expectations about things. So much so that you could have two people in a room who have been looking at things a different way, and they could look at the same set of physical manifested facts, and they could have two entirely different responses to it because your expectation really rules the day. And we've not said this to you before, but your expectation and momentum are really the same thing too. What you expect is really the momentum of the thoughts that you've been thinking. So when we say to you that you create your own reality and you do it through your thoughts, sometimes that makes you feel like, well, then I need to change my thoughts because the things that I'm getting that I don't want, I need to change my thoughts so that that doesn't happen anymore. Or the things that I'm not getting that I do want, I've got to change my thoughts so that I do get those. And yes, of course, on a very rudimentary level, that's exactly right. You do want to change your thoughts so that they match up with more of the things that you want. But you can't just decide that you're going to do that and go out and do that without an understanding of how the laws of the universe work, and, friends, without some practice, without some deliberate practice about things. So we're just going to say something really bold and blunt to you. And that is that you just can't get there from here. And so we've enjoyed this interaction immensely. Good luck with this. And what we mean by that is, if you have a vibration going, which is bringing whatever it's bringing, and you are an observer of what it's bringing, then that's just a continuation. That's momentum that's going to keep happening. It's going to cause you to come to beliefs about things. A belief's just a thought you continue to think. It's going to cause you to come to expectations about things that you just can't get around. Because when you expect something, that means you've got a strong practiced vibration about it. And even though you would like something different, you can't get it. You've got to change the way your thoughts are flowing. And law of attraction isn't going to let you change the thoughts that you're thinking easily. So what are you going to do about that? In the early days, we talked about a process called pivoting, which is simple at its face. In other words, when you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. And that's a wonderful thing, because as you have that contrasting life experience, what you do want is formulating in a magnificent and sure vibrational environment. We call that your vibrational reality. We began calling it your vortex, your vibrational vortex, because we want you to feel the realness of the gathering of vibration around the things that life has helped you to know that you want. I don't want poverty. I want abundance. I don't want sickness. I want wellness. I don't want rudeness. I want niceness. I don't want confusion. I want clarity. But the thing about that is in the moment of the experience, which is making you most aware of what you don't want, you are creating the other end of that vibrational stick. Because a really, really, really good problem, while it is becoming, causes a really, really, really good solution to come simultaneously and in proportion. Your new desires are born in an absolute commensurate fashion to your problems. If you've got a really good question, a really good answer is formulating. That's what creation is. That's what you knew you were contributing to when you decided to come into this body to begin with. But the thing that is important for you to understand is that while you are moving through the contrast of life and acknowledging, really creating, and really improving, you might say, which sounds weird, improving your problems, which means growing them, getting them bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger with more definition. You are also simultaneously creating the growth, expanding solution to that. But humans don't know that. The source energy part of you is reveling in everything that you are creating over here on the solution end. But you usually are over here so determined that you are going to solve this problem, that you are going to wrestle it to the ground. You're going to identify it. You're going to discuss it with others. You're going to join groups about it. You're going to compare it with other problems that are like it. And while that is all really good for the universe at large, while that is really, really good for what's happening in your vibrational reality, which you could find alignment with if you knew what you were doing, it's usually not so good for you because you just keep growing the problem. And as you grow the problem, you don't feel so good. We would like that to be an easy thing that changes within you. We would like you, instead of feeling unhappy with yourself because you've created a problem, and unhappy with yourself that you don't feel good because of the problem, we would like you to feel appreciative of your problems in the way that we are appreciative of your problems, so that you then could pivot to the solution. The key to deliberate creation is understanding that you have to have some contrast in order to ask for more. And more is what we are all about. The continuation of existence, not the elimination of existence. It will never be eliminated. It will always continue. The question is, are you going along with the solution that you've created while you've been exploring the contrast of the problem? Step one is contrast causes you to ask. Step two is you launch a solution into this vibrational reality, and your inner being joins the vibration of the solution and holds a steady focus upon it, so that it's there for someone who gets into the receiving mode to receive. Is it going to be you? Maybe. It depends upon your ability to cease the resistant thought that is keeping you vibrationally apart from the solution. Do you understand what we're saying?